Hi guys, it's Robin. I am taking a break from studying so I can get dinner started. Daytona wants to say hello. Let's see if we can see Daytona. Hi, Tona! Tona! Daytona, say hi! You're a celebrity, say hi! Okay, anyway, sorry. My son has a wrestling match tonight, and I wanted to come home. Like I said, we have Daytona. We have two other boys living with us right now, too, so I really am trying to keep up with making at least 4 meals a week. The rest of the time they can eat leftovers, or I buy lots of things that they can, you know, make sandwiches. I have different soups and chilies, and, you know, I order Schwann's. So, Daytona... He just sees I'm talking to someone else besides him. So anyway, you know, lots of other things that kids can just make up on their own, and they cook themselves too. So sometimes they'll just cook something up that they want. Stop. So I've had many people ask me what I do with, you know, studying and cooking and being a mom and all this other stuff. And so, to be honest, like I said, I do order Schwann's. It can be expensive, but you pay for convenience. I have this little dry board on my fridge, so if something gets used up, or I realize I'm getting low on something, or the kids finish something up or want something, they'll write it up there. And I've been starting to do meal plans. I've been watching a lot of YouTube on freezer meals and crock pots. I have 2 crock pots, but to be honest, I very rarely use them. I made something once before, and it was just really dry. It said to cook it on high, and now this was years ago, and I did it, and then it was just, I don't know if mine just cook really hot or what, so I'm just willing to try it again. What I normally do with the crock pots is when I take food into my classmates, like I'll cook at home, and then I'll transfer it to the crock pot. I'll make soups or casserole or something, transfer it to the crock pot, and then take those to school. So that's really why I use my crock pot, or how I use my crock pots. But I really want to start doing this so we can eat better and things like that. And I have to lose this 50 pounds I got in nursing school. Well, actually, 25 to 30 of it is from the last 2 years in nursing school. The other was from prereqs. So anyway, just have to make some better choices. So Shelly's home life. Shelly, hi Shelly. She got me started on, I'm just kind of thinking, like, you know, people are asking me, but I'm like, I don't really know what I'm doing with that, because I'm a dump cook. I'm really pretty good cook, but I just don't really follow recipes. I just kind of make my own thing, but sometimes I'm tired, so I really want to start utilizing my crock pots and freezer meals. So today I got a recipe off of Pinterest. I'll show it to you. Hold on just a moment. Sorry about the little... It is called Honey Sesame Crockpot Chicken. And there's the picture of it. And it is pinned on my Pinterest. So if you follow me, I'm Robin Voke on Pinterest. It fell over, got in the ketchup. But anyway, here is the recipe. So if you want to pause that and write down the ingredients, and then this is the instructions. So if you want to pause that, it says to cook over rice, but we just had beef tips and gravy over rice last night. So what I'm going to do is, from Schwann's, I always get these 6 tortellini, cheese tortellini noodles. My kids love these. This is what I'm talking about. Like, I usually make my own sauce, but I do have jarred sauces. So if they're cooking for themselves, they just cook these and put some jar sauce on it, and they're happy campers. So I have all the ingredients out right now. There's one of my 2 crock pots. I have a bunch of chicken, and I'm doubling this recipe because I have 3 teenage boys, ages 16 to 22, and then I have my husband, myself, and my daughter Shelby. Rachel went back to college, so I don't have her. But I wanted to show you this. I do still have to chop up green onion, but what I do is, because I buy at Sam's Club, I will, when I'm chopping some up, I will chop it all up, and then I will put it in a container like this and keep it in the fridge. So next time I need chopped green onion, I already have some, and it keeps it fresher here than it does in the fridge like this. Okay, and then I kept these because I wanted to show you, as I'm preparing, my kitchen is very small, and it's very old, and it needs revamping really bad. But and my garbage can just happens to be, because there's no room up here, across the room. So as I'm prepping and cooking my meals, Everybody has a ton of these bags, right? So I keep one for just garbage and throwaway stuff. And then as I'm cooking, I keep one out for recyclables. So then when I'm done cooking and it's time, you know, it's in the oven or it's doing its thing, I just pick up this bag and I toss it in the garbage, and then I'll pick up this bag and toss it in the recycle bin. And instead of walking back and forth 1,000 times or having to clean the counter up on top of everything else. So this way, boom, boom, done. So let's go through the ingredients. The single recipe calls for 2 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken breasts or thighs, and I have both. I go to Sam's Club and we get the huge package, not the frozen package, but the huge family pack in the refrigerated section of chicken breasts. These are just 2. Here's my hand. Look how, like, seriously, these are humongous. So what I do, I think like 10 come in a package, 10 or 12 or so. Anyway, I'll put 2 in a couple packages, and then I'll put 4 in a couple packages and use them that way. And then these are from Sam's Club as well. This is the last little bit of my package. These are in the frozen section in the bags. These are boneless, skinless chicken thighs. I'm still going to trim off the fat. Well, maybe I won't. I'll let it cook in with it just to add some flavor. Then I have to salt and pepper these. And then it calls for 3/4 cup of honey, so of course I'm going to have to double that. This is already doubled. It calls for 1/2 cup of low sodium soy sauce, so this is already doubled. 1/2 cup of diced onion, so I'm going to dice up some of this, and like green, I chose green onion. So what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm going to use what I need and then put the rest in this container and keep it in the fridge. Alright, then it calls for 1/4 cup of ketchup, so I have 1/2 cup here because I'm doubling it because we're putting it over pasta and I have a lot of people. I'm doubling the sauce. And I'll look at it. If I think I need to do more, I'll do more. And then this is, it calls for 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Of course, I have more in there. It calls for 2 cloves of garlic. It calls for 1 teaspoon of red pepper. And then later on, once it's done cooking and I take it out to shred it up, then I'll use cornstarch and water and make a slurry and put it back in the juice to help thicken it up. And then when we pull it out, we'll top it with some sesame seeds. And then again, instead of rice or potatoes, I chose to put it over the 6 cheese tortellini. And the Live Smart by Schwann's is the healthy stuff. So, you know, of course they have the down and dirty, everything's good. And then they have the part that is, you know, little healthier versions. So to start off, what I have in here is what I use the most of. I have my pepper, my salt, and seasoned salt. The rest of my seasonings are up in here. And I have these things I got off of eBay. Check that out. Tell me that's not awesome. And back here are for bigger jars, and then up here, you know, I have some smaller ones or whatever, but they all do that. And then I have these over here, and of course I got my label maker out. But the things I really use a lot of, I go to Sam's Club and I buy them like that, and I keep them down here, and then I refill my smaller jars up there. So anywho, just in case you're interested. So I'm using some kosher salt, so I'm going to salt. I'm trying to salt and look through my viewfinder. I have all these little odds and end pieces too. Don't throw those away. Those are great. We're going to shred it up anyway, right? It says to do both sides. I'm just going to do one side really well. I figure there's soy sauce in here, and I can always add more later. Okay, then we're going to get pepper. Now, when I cook, my I would say holy trinity, but it's not because I use 4 things. If I could only take 4 seasonings on a deserted island with me, it would be salt, kosher salt, pepper, garlic powder, and onion powder. But this is just calling for salt and pepper, so what I like to do when I'm trying out a recipe, I try it the way it comes the first time, and then I doctor it up. I'll make notes about how I think it tastes and what I would like to add or try. I give it its benefit of the doubt first, and then I'll tweak it. So I'm going to put this in the crock pot, and I'm going to chop up these onions, and then I'll be back and let you see it all. It won't be done, but I'll show you the next step. Okay, so now I have the honey in the bowl. I have my onions chopped up. I don't know if I'm going to use them all. The remaining I put in here for another meal. So I'll stick that in the fridge. So let's put everything else in. All right, so we're going to add to our honey, we're going to add our low sodium soy sauce, our ketchup, olive oil. This is going to be so good, guys, especially with those juices from the chicken cooking up with it. Woohoo! Get happy. The garlic. Now, I usually have fresh garlic, but because I'm starting to do so many prep ahead and everything, I just started to buy this minced garlic, and this is a big thing. I got it at Sam's Club, but yeah. Just, it's faster. You know, when you're coming in and making dinner or whatever, it's just a time saver. The red pepper flake. And I'm going to whisk this up first, and then I'll add in the green onion. That honey's thick at the bottom, and I'm holding my camera. Yeah. Try and get all that incorporated. One thing I'd love to do, and it saves a lot of time. Let's try the left-handed whisk. Woo! That's talent right there because I'm a righty. I love to, when I'm out at Sam's Club, I will bring home 2 rotisserie chickens, and one may be for dinner that night, but if not, I always get 2 anyway, and I will pick them off and shred them up and put them into individual sandwich baggies, different amounts, and I'll freeze them, and then the kids take them out and they'll like put it in a bowl of warm water for a little bit to get it thawed out, and then they'll make chicken quesadillas. There's always cheese in my house, and there's always flour tortillas, and yeah, they just make their own chicken quesadillas. There's sour cream and hot sauce all the time, salsa, so that's what they do. Okay, so getting into my drawer, let me get my tongs, and I'm just going to start putting, I'm going to put the chicken breast down first because it's a whiter meat, and I'm thinking the darker thighs, being a little more fatty, will help keep them moist. I don't know, this is just my way of thinking. It's a lot of chicken, I know, but like I said, Eric works from home most days of the week. However, once a week he goes to another state and works, and he teleworks from home the rest of the time. So a lot of times leftovers will be his lunch the next day. My kids aren't huge on leftovers, but I'll take them to school as well for my lunch, and that way I don't end up buying the expensive, not so great lunches at my school. Okay, so all that chicken fit in here. I was debating whether or not to have 2 crock pots, but it looks okay. All right, now I'm going to pour in the green onions. Let's see, it says, what did it say for the onions? Half a cup of diced. Well, that looks good to me because they were talking about regular onion. I'll just put it all in. It'll soften up and cook up soft and add some really nice color to it. I'm excited. I'm sorry, as I get better with these cooking things, I'll get a little more organized on how to. I don't really have a good tripod. I just have this little thing my husband finagled for me down in my craft room, so it's not something I can just bring up and use, but that is something on my list to get. Alright, so now we're just going to take this yummy mixture, we're going to pour it over the chicken. OMG. Woo! And because I'm kind of anal, I'm just going to move the chicken around just to make sure it's liquid, so I know it's getting on top of those chicken breasts, but just because I piled the chicken, I just want to make sure everything's covered. So I'm just giving it a nice little zhuzh here. Okay. Now, because we're not going to be eating for quite a while, I want to, and I'm afraid of overcooking, just because I told you my story last time, I'm going to plug it in so that it works. Oh, come on, Robin, twist it around. Okay, I will put the lid on it. The lid is over there. And here's mine. So, and like I said, this is my old crock pot, but I'm going to go ahead and put it over here, I think, to 10. Maybe I'll do 8 hours. I'll look at it before I leave for the tournament, and I'll check it then. But so it's on 8 hours, so that means it's going to be low. We're going to be eating on it in about 6 hours, but that's a lot of chicken, so I'm thinking that this would be good. And this chicken is thawed out, by the way. Okay, so we'll see you. You know what? I might show you some of the cooking process before I go. Let you know what how it's looking. And then I'll definitely do the rest of the video when I get back from the tournament. All right? Now it's off to cleaning up this mess. See you in a bit. So I'm back from the wrestling match. It's almost 9 o'clock. I left early. What I did, because the chicken was looking like it was cooking way fast, like I thought it would, I went ahead and I just turned it off so it was cooking in this hot, you know, the sauce was staying hot. So I figured it would finish cooking while I was at the match, even though I turned it off, and it looks exactly like it, like that's just, look at, it's just, oh, it's just falling apart. Look at this. So I'm going to take it out now, and I'm going to shred it up. Big old chicken breast here. I just, you know, I just don't want it dry. And I'll let you know if it is or not, so maybe, you know, I'll figure out what I can do to tweak it. But this dark meat, I'm telling you right now, it's so tender. So all I have now is my water on to boil to do the tortellini. Ooh, sorry about that head spin. And I'm going to make my slurry. I've got this on high again. Once I get the chicken shredded, I'm going to keep it out, and then I'm just going to add the cornstarch and the water to this and thicken this up to make more of a gravy. And we shall see how that goes. So I'll be back in a minute when I have everything shredded and ready to put together. Everybody, so I shredded up the chicken, and it is nice and moist and lovely. And I took my husband's laughing at me because now I'm doing cooking stuff. Anyway, the juice from the crock pot to help things along, I put it in my pot, and I put in the cornstarch, and it's bubbling now to thicken. So I'm just going to add the chicken back into here. And I'd already made the tortellini. Now the trick to tortellini, the only thing I do is I made it in here, is I get my salt water boiling, and I do put a little bit of olive oil in the water, okay? And then once it boils, I pour in the tortellini, and the trick is it only takes a minute or so, so stay near it. And once it floats, I use a slotted spoon, and whatever pieces float, I pick it up and I transfer it into the bowl with the slotted spoon, and I mix it with some butter so it doesn't stick, okay? And this is pretty good for now. I'm making a mess. But anyway, let me just stir this around in here. And let me tell you, the chicken is not dry at all. So my trick of just turning it off and letting it finish with the lid closed while we were gone was perfect, because if I would have let it keep cooking, it absolutely would have been too dry, I think. Look at that. Oh my gravy. Honey, I'm good. I'm joking. I left the wrestling match early so I can get this done before the boys come home, because they're going to want to eat and just go to bed. So anyway, so this is done. Look at that. So this recipe definitely is a make again. The sauce is phenomenal. You can't even see the green onions in there anymore. So if your kids, if you like the taste of onions but you don't think they'll like to see them, that's fine, because they're just going to disintegrate. So I'm just going to put a little bit of tortellini in the bowl for me. And then I will take a spoon with no slots so I can get some juice too. And then I'm just going to dish some up over top. Look at that. Yum. Okay. Now if you wanted to get fancy, you can add some, I did add in some sesame seed, but I guess I can sprinkle on a little bit more. If I could get the bottle open. But look at that, it's just so good. But the sauce, the mixture is wonderful. So this is a double recipe. So my pot is about that big, and this is doubled. So, you know, the recipe I showed you in the beginning of the video on the piece of paper, that's a single recipe. So, you know, double, triple, keep it single for your family. This would be excellent. More so over rice probably than the noodles. But like I said, I didn't want to over rice my family because we just had rice last night. So look at that. Bam, dinner's done. It couldn't have been easier, faster. And this would be a great recipe to use if you have leftover chicken breast or turkey or something like that. If you had some leftover turkey, instead of doing it in the crock pot because it would already be cooked, you could just make up the sauce on the stovetop, shred it up and put it in, and it completely transforms, you know, oven roasted chicken breast or something. Alright, thanks for joining me. Let me know if you try this. Like I said, the recipe is excellent. It says it serves 6 the way it was, but with teenage boys, I think this is going to serve 6. So, thanks for joining me. Comment, rate, and subscribe. I appreciate your time, love, and support, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.